As our campaign comes to an end, we end up here at the off-season. Welcome, we'll get a big look at the whole league and not just the Demons. We'll see every trade, big free agent signing, and re-signings of every team. I'll also go over the new cap system that we're going to be introducing into this off-season, and will hopefully continue on for the rest of the series. As well, we'll go over the draft. This has been the biggest offseason I've ever done, and the first season that has had so many moving parts, whether it's new free agents, new cap system, like I said, and we're going to start off with the awards of this past season. So as we look here, Jackson Thomas of the Miami Bullheads is a dual threat quarterback who has had an amazing season on the ground and in the air. He had over 1,300 rushing yards at quarterback, and he had a solid passing game as well. Now the Bullheads, lost in the playoffs, but he did win MVP. We also look at Henry Kinder, his teammate on defense, who's upset with Miami, and we'll get into that later on as well. He won Defensive Player of the Year, getting 9 sacks as a free safety and leading the league in interceptions. And we look all the way down as well. The sack title goes to our Damacruz Harden, who had 15 sacks on the season. He was very surprising, especially in our nickel set. And now we're going to go to the new cap system that I'll be explaining, hopefully well, and I'll show you how it works. So the free agents are completely randomized like they are every year. I don't choose who gets who, it's all randomly chosen. But with this cap system, it comes into place after progression and is counted by assigning cap points to each player on each team. And like I said, all cap is counted after season ending progression, and all based on position and star level. Example would be a gold quarterback versus a gold D tackle. The quarterback is more capped to the team. To make drafting important, most draft players don't come with their star level and will progress due to their first few seasons in the FFL. There is also a loophole to help teams as well. If a team is above the max cap, they must cut or trade players at random to meet the max or go below. In signing players, the loophole, teams may exceed the max cap, so if a team wants to go all out, they can, but this also means that the next season they're going to be even more in debt to the cap, and they're going to have to cut even more players. This also helps the fact that a lot of teams that have been dynasties the last few years, what they've been doing is trading away their draft picks and getting really good star gold players and then just harboring them all on their roster. This will help hopefully minimize that. And yes, people will still try to harbor more and more talent, but at the same time, I feel like it's going to level it out at some point. And then as you see here, I have all of the cap values, and right now this year the max cap is 170 points. And now we're gonna go to the free agents, starting with quarterback. And like I said, here we are with the quarterbacks. We have a bunch of quarterbacks in free agency as we start off with star quarterback Brand McWilliams. He's an amazing pocket passer with elite ball placement. He signed with the Bears to help out an elite offense. Their offense was held back by their quarterback Bryce O'Connell, but they still had a top tier offense with one of the best wide receivers in the league. To have an even more accurate quarterback who can make even better throws, I think will be very important to this offense. Next will be Neve Watts, who goes to the Bulls. Now, we did face him. He was on the Vipers, and he's a veteran quarterback who had an elite season last year and is a former MVP and Rookie Player of the Year. He still has athleticism and a strong arm. He is clutch in late game situation and is an upgrade for the Bulls. But his one issue is his consistency. He'll have one really good season, one really bad season. He never really retains. His whole entire years, or his, I would say career, has been kind of up and down. Next, Bryce O'Connell. Like I said, he is a good passer. He's great in the pocket. He's one of the best at reading coverages, but the problem is he's had many injuries to his shoulder. And like I said, he's a former MVP who has fallen due to multiple injuries to his hip and throwing shoulder. He's a phenomenal processor and beats defenses with his mind. He had a rough season last year, being top 5 in interceptions. And hopefully this new start with the Vipers will get him going. And I think he's a good fit for the Vipers. They like a lot of short passing. They like to run the ball a lot. But next is Patrick Anderson from the Machine. He's a former scrambling quarterback who's also a former Rookie of the Year candidate years and years and years ago. And his issue has been he cannot quite find a championship team to be on. Now, the Machine isn't that, but Patrick Anderson has really worked on his pocket ability, and with his age, he's become smarter and smarter with the ball. So hopefully, maybe he can break out of his shell, make some bigger plays for this team. Next is Javon Hero. He goes to the Revenge. Now, he is a good quarterback. I wouldn't say great. He's a young quarterback with a chip on his shoulder, and as you'll see, the Revenge improved the team a lot in this offseason. They gave him a chance to play what he would call hero ball. He loves gunslinging and putting the team on his back. Now, that does get teams into trouble, and he's led the league in interceptions 2 out of 3 years so far. He does have a pretty good arm, but we'll have to see. And now with the Demons, they pick up Alfred Blackson. We did try to get a bunch of quarterbacks in this offseason, but no trades worked out and no free agents wanted to come here, even though we had such a good season last year. He's gone back and forth from developmental to FFL many times. He used to be very speedy and very strong, but he's lost a lot of that speed and strength. Hopefully he can do great with the Demons. Now we look at Jackson Thomas real quick. He was supposed to come out in free agency, but he's the only quarterback to sign back with his team, the Bullheads. And of course, he loves it in Miami. Why would he want to change that? They've really tried to build their team around him, and it's worked out pretty good so far. The other one we don't have there is Chandler Parsons. He is our former quarterback in DC. He goes to the Hounds. But next we're going to go to running back, as there's been not quite a few running backs, but there's a decent amount as well. Like Morgan Campbell, he re-signs with the Heroes. He's one of the best power running backs in the league. He's underrated as well, but it looks like they're going to change their running style to more of a finesse, so I think he's going to become their backup. Again, Morgan Campbell, DC went after him, but he decided to re-sign with the Heroes. From what I understand, the Heroes are going hard in this free agency and in this offseason, and you'll see shortly later on. Next is Nick Rivero. He goes from the Revenge to the Crusaders. Weirdly, they're going power back here for the Crusaders. They're usually getting receiving backs, but interestingly, they go for Rivero, who had a very solid season last year. He was up to being demoted back into the developmental league, but he really has shown that he is a solid back in this league, showing some solid power, solid vision, and is able to at least run around into the secondary. Next is Trey Thibodeau. He goes from the Crusaders to the Revenge. Now with this, obviously, it's almost just like a player swap. Trey Thibodeau is a awesome balance back with great receiving. He has no excellent traits at all. He's just solid at every spot he's in. From what I heard, he's a good captain and just a good back in general for the Revenge, which is very, very awesome to hear. Next, we're going to jump from J.J. Jackson to Reshawn James, who re-signs with the Revenge, which is very unlikely. No one thought he would. Rashawn James is a former tight end turned wide receiver who is a athletic freak and a great route runner. I think he's going to do pretty well here as well. The next player coming up as well is a super good player, and he's also joining the Revenge, and tight end Stan Main. He is a wonderful, wonderful receiving tight end. He's the best receiving tight end to ever play the game. He's a future Hall of Famer who's left the Bullheads to try to get some more catches and some more playing time with the Revenge. He also really wanted to play with his best friend Rashawn James, who they've connected over the last few years. With this, the Revenge really have a star-studded offense again, which has been years since they've had anything like that. Next, we're going to go to offensive line. Offensive line, we don't really have a lot to talk about here because there are a lot of pretty okay players. As we look, first what we're shown is Derek Leach for the Warthogs. He's a solid starter. Nothing, he's, I think, a good run blocker. Nothing special, though. The next one we would show is Adam Thomas, who his picture is about to come up here. He is a phenomenal pass blocker and run blocker, and he is going to start for the Heroes. The Heroes really want to shore up that offensive line for young quarterback Levi Kane, but Adam Thomas does have some injury issues there, and he's starting to age a bit. Hopefully he can actually do something with this team. The next player would be Evan Freeman for the Revenge. He is a interesting player because he has came out of developmental very raw, just like how Adam Thomas did. But his development has been kind of stunted the last couple years. But as you'll see, he's going to the Revenge. They want to try to run the rock a little bit better. They had a solid running game last year, top 10 in that department. What really sucked was their passing game with Alfred Blackson, and with only Rashawn James, it was hard for any defense to be surprised on where they were going next. But hopefully with Evan Freeman being there, they'll shore up that right side to run the ball. Now the next tackle is the best tackle to ever play in this league, in Lawrence Stinson. He's leaving the Hounds to go to the Bears. The San Antonio Bears will be picking up Stinson here, and that's awesome for that team, especially picking up Brand McWilliams and Stinson and still having one of the top offenses in the league, just getting better. This team is now looking scary, and hopefully that will go into a playoff run since they didn't make it this past year. And that's what they've been really looking for. I mean, this team is stacked everywhere you look, and hopefully it can continue. But next is I would say a raw player for sure, and his name is Iggy Webster. He's going to the Vipers. He is a okay tackle. I believe he might become a guard at some point. He has very small arms. He's very strong, though. He's a lot like Evan Freeman in that aspect. But the Vipers are kind of coming up a little bit short here. I think they went after Stinson really hard, which would have been insane to see him twice a schedule as the Demons. But next is Dwan Flowers. He goes to our DC Demons. The Demons did go after Stinson. It didn't work out. They also went after Adam Thomas. That didn't work out. But Dwan Flowers is a great run blocker with surprising agility in the pass blocking game. I think that's a perfect combination for this team, who is going to move their current left tackle to guard. And I think it's going to work out pretty well, especially with their young quarterback, Samuel. But the issue is there's rumors that next season their star tackle, Marvin Ephraim, might be up, which is why they probably go for tackle as well. And the last tackle to be taken here as well in the free agency will be Zeke Conrad to the Tigers. Conrad is a amazing talent who came out of developmental a couple years ago, and he's continuing to grow, and the fact that he's going to the Tigers really shows that they're really trying to get that run game going. They have two amazing backs back there. They have amazing blocking wide receivers. They have a really good quarterback, as you'll see, and that offense really wants to start getting going, especially in the trenches where they've really gotten a lot of budget players at their offensive line. So hopefully getting this star player will really set them over the top, especially in the north. Now, the next player is Kesnick Griffith, who's a former tackle turned guard. He's going to the Cavs. The Cavalry, as you'll see, is going all in this season. They are going bananas as they're signing the best guard, and later you'll see they're going to trade for a star quarterback. They already have another star guard, and on defense they have the best one of the best middle linebackers in the league. Now, they were one of the worst teams this past year, so they do have some cap to work with for sure. Now, with Griffith, though, that's going to make it one of the best offensive lines, if not the best offensive line in the league. And with a new star quarterback, as you'll see, that's going to be very, very, very impressive. And now we're going to look at Dong Turk. He's going to the Hounds. He's left the Ash, who he's won 2 to 3 championships with, and he's going to the Hounds to be their main center. Now, there's not many good centers in this league. That's one of the positions that's hard to get, so the fact that they're able to do that is impressive. Very, very impressive. Now we're going to jump to defensive end, which is pretty insane here. We're going to have to start off with the biggest signing, probably, for sure, especially at defensive end, is Brandon Dorsey, who's a former Defensive Player of the Year, and he's leaving the Ash to go to Sacramento and play with the Wolves. Now, for this to work, the Wolves did have to clear some cap to, get this player, but they really want to increase their D-end position and really try to get some star players to go after the quarterback, because their offense is the only thing really holding that team ahead of everybody. And now we're going to jump to D-tackle for River Riddles going to the Revolution. We're going to lose him. DC's going to lose River Riddles. He got some sacks, and he did stop some plays in the running game, but DC way overpaid for their defense. And listen, it's the best defense to ever play in this league. And they have some of the best stats, but when it mattered most, they could not get wins. And I think it starts off with overspending for a run-stuffing D-tackle and not getting any sacks. Now we're going to go down to Lucas Britton, a star bronze D-tackle who's good in the run game, good in the pass game, solid player. As we saw above, Don Perry III going to DC. He is a wide Mack truck at 400 pounds, just trying to basically set that middle of the line as well. Now we're going to look at Stanley Bayer, who's a star D-tackle, has led the league in sacks multiple times, and he's going to the Cavalry again, as Boston is spending money hand over fist here to really bring in some good talent. They're going all in this season. They feel like with all their spending that they can really, really get something out of this team. And we do end up facing them this season coming soon. I believe this is the second game in the season, so it's going to be very interesting to actually go against them and see how they play. With Bayer, and that will finish the D tackles. So we're going to jump to edge and linebacker, as the only edge in free agency is Carry-On Max Attack, as he is one of the best edge rushers in the league. He's a young stud pass rusher hitting his prime. He excels at chasing the quarterback and disrupting clutch situations. He's an amazing piece on this Heroes defense, and the Heroes are another team that are going all in. They think that they have the quarterback, and now they're getting another pass rusher on top of what they already have, and that's incredible. Carry-On Max, again, for the Monarchs was insane last year, and now we're going to go to inside linebacker, which there's a ton of great talent here. I'm surprised DC did not go after any of these. As we're going to start off with Evan Forbes going to the Tigers. He's a big mouth linebacker who causes issues on and off the field, who hits hard and puts receivers over the middle in jeopardy. He's going to Chicago to fill big shoes at that position, but I think as long as he can put the money where his mouth is, I think he can definitely make this defense still one of the best. And now again, Ian Davidson, who's going from the Tigers, goes to the Heroes. Ian Davidson is an elite linebacker who is quite captain, leads by example, and is excellent in the run game and in the pass game. He'll work with Max and Houston and make this defense elite. Now their linebackers are set and their edges set. This defense is looking scary as the Heroes are seeing what Boston's doing and they're trying to do it too. Now, will it work out? I do not know. Because, of course, like I said, with this cap system, they're going to have to lose all these players next year. Blake Cross, who's a fast linebacker, he has pretty good speed. He has always been a backup, but he's going to the Guardians. We're going to have to see what he can do in this defense. I don't know if they really have space for him. The Guardians are known to have a really good secondary, but they have now lost one of their main secondary people, so we'll have to see. Next, Von Bruce finds his way to the flight. He led linebackers in interceptions last year. He's the best zone coverage linebacker in the league, other than Ross Jones. Now, Von Bruce is a wide linebacker. He's kind of short, but he does have hops to try to intercept some passes. He's dangerous in any passing lane. He's also dangerous in the run game. He's not a super hard hitter, but he can wrap up pretty much any player. He's going to be solid for the flight, who's been kind of quiet in this offseason so far. Next is Torrin Black. He is a underrated linebacker. He's hitting his prime, honestly. He signs with the Revenge. He'll greatly improve their defense by himself. He's the most underrated linebacker in the league, next to Ian Davidson. And people say he is the next Ian Davidson, and I totally see it. Excellent in passing, excellent in the running game. He can pretty much tackle anybody. Now, lastly, for free agent linebackers, Beckett Bradshaw is a 6'4", hard-hitting middle linebacker. He's a large defensive threat, a big hitter in the red zone, and is dangerous to all ball carriers. His zone coverage is a little lacking, but he puts fear into ball carriers. And I think the machine who constantly fight bad weather and people running the ball on them because of that, I think he's going to come and make a big splash at linebacker. Now, they do lose the best cornerback in the league, as you'll see shortly, but they at least gain a pretty solid linebacker to help in that running game. Next, we're going to look at corner, safety, and strong safety. We're going to start with Ty Palmer, who can play all three positions. He's going to the Las Vegas Lightning. He is a lightning fast player, hard hitter at corner, can stop pretty much any running play by himself. He's had issues with his last coach, and that's the reason why he's made his way to Las Vegas, in his hometown. We have to see how he'll do in this defense. I think he'll do pretty well, though. Next is cornerback Bryce Holden Jr. Now, he caused a lot of issues at his last spot. He is with the Guardians. He lacks athleticism, but he makes up in guts and his ball hawk ability. He's a phenomenal cover 2 corner. He can make his way to Carolina as a budget option, which Carolina is known for budget options on their defense other than Ty Garrison. Next is one of the best corners in the league, Drake Reed. He is a former DC Demon who went to the Sailors and won a title, and now he's making his way to Houston to add another threat to that defense. They think that Levi Kane at quarterback is their quarterback, and that what he showed last year was good enough, and they're building a team around him to really go after a title this year. Now, Drake Reed is a good man coverage corner, good zone coverage corner, good press, but he does lack that extreme athleticism that I think some other corners do have. Next is Kerry Javo. He's a solid starter who is always an improvement on a team. He's a team captain. He has decent ball hawking skills. He's tall, he's strong, but I think other than that, he doesn't have a lot of crazy, more than average or even elite stats for him. But every time he goes to a team, he makes it better, and he makes his way to the Bears, who do have issues with their defense, and now he's going to upgrade that part as well. Next is Leonard Selvey. He's what would be classified a nickel corner, but he does play on the outside a ton. He's only 5'10". He's the fastest cornerback in the league. He has some of the best hands in the league. He has some of the best tackling in the league. He is surprisingly a hard tackler, and he puts fear into every receiver, whether it's over the middle, on the sideline, and he's a island by himself. And he's going to go to our rival, the Pittsburgh Dynasty, who have had issues on their defense. Next, Salim Harrison. Due to cap, we had to let him go, and he goes to the Hounds. The Hounds have a lot of money to throw around this offseason. They're not quite trying to make a big splash here, but on defense, Harrison is a big get for them. He had a bad season with us last year, but hopefully he can, rise up to the occasion and try to keep that silver status as a silver player. But yeah, I just think he didn't really fit our system. Next is Lights Out McEnroe. He's a gutsy, hard-hitting safety who is a smelling salt away from knocking out a receiver from a game. He is a old style. He should be a linebacker, but he's undersized. His zone coverage is slightly lacking. He tends to still be in position, but if he gets beat pretty badly. His agility is not that good, but if he hits someone, he's taking them out of the game. He is one of the hardest hitters to ever play the position. That's why his name is Lights Out. Next is John Bowman, who gets downgraded to a generic this year. He loses his copper status, but as a legendary former Defensive Player of the Year, former champion with Pittsburgh, Bowman has a lot still left in the tank. He's lost a lot of speed, but I think that he will be a upgrade for the Heroes. Next, we have some safeties here. The main one I want to talk about is Shabin Mathis, who is a jack of all trades, master of none safety, who definitely is an upgrade for the machine here at strong safety. Hopefully, since they lost a corner, maybe they'll get one in the draft, or maybe try to pick one in a trade. I do not know. Now we're going to look through the trades in this offseason here, as you'll see some big ones. As well, there's a lot to cover, so I'm just going to try to get through very quickly. First of all, DC and the Vipers trade. Vipers trade Franklin Welch in their 14th pick, and DC trades Eric Dobson in their 18th pick to move up in the draft. We get, a underrated corner. Eric Dobson didn't really do much for us, so it makes sense. The Cavalry trade their quarterback Jamie Brooks in their 3rd pick, as Las Vegas trades their quarterback Terrence Thomas in their 11th pick. So they do a trade swap, and the Cavalry get Terrence Thomas, who's one of the hardest throwers. He's Jackson Thomas's brother, his older brother, and he's a former MVP candidate. He's a big guy. He's almost 300 pounds, and he could throw that rock 80 yards if he really wants to. Next is the Wolves and the Tigers. Wolves trade legendary quarterback Ryan Humes in their 6th pick. For the Tigers, William Anthony, who's also a legendary quarterback, for their 17th. William Anthony is more of a system quarterback. He's not going to make any big plays, but I think they just want someone to play in their system. Ryan Humes likes to gunsling a lot. That's how you won an MVP years and years and years ago, was gunslinging. Revolution trade also with DC. DC trades Angel Akins, our star running back, and Dontari Moore for running back Chris Young Jr. and wide receiver Michael Ingram. This is to get some more speed at that running back position. Also, Chris Young is an amazing receiving back, which Angel Akins is, but he would drop some. The Wolves also trade, so the Wolves traded for their 17th. Now they're trading the 17th pick and their star running back Isaac Taylor Johnson to the Bulls for their 7th pick in Angel Phoenix. This is actually to get a higher pick, plus to get rid of some cap because they signed Brandon Dorsey. Lastly, the Heroes. They trade their first pick entirely to the Lightning to get star defensive tackle Daniil Holmes, who's a 6'10 defensive tackle who can destroy any offensive line by himself. So now the Heroes have 4 gold players on defense. This is one of the best defenses we'll ever see this coming year, and sadly we don't face them. But, I mean, it's very dangerous that they're trying to go all in and they're getting rid of their pick, but I feel like they just feel like their pick is not valuable. Now, we're going to go to the draft. The draft will start with number 1. The Lightning end up picking up defensive end and edge Alfonso Ratliff. Now, in this draft, it's a lottery system. They won the first pick, and this is a good one. Let me tell you, he led the minors, the developmental, the FFLM in sacks. He brings solid pressure off that edge. His only issue is his play strength / his hard time stopping the run. Now, they haven't had any issues stopping the run with their team, but that was also because of their defensive tackle, who they just traded away. So, I don't see how this could work out amazingly, other than they're probably just trying to make some space cap-wise. And, this is a cheaper option to try to get some edge play there. Next, Dynasty, they get the number 2 pick, and they pick up strong safety Davon Bird. He led the FFLM in interceptions at safety, and he's great in coverage. He's phenomenal. And with their current strong safety getting a little bit older, I think it's a great pickup to get Davon Bird and maybe put him in that nickel position like the Demons like to do as well. Now, he does lack good tackling. He actually has a play that he got completely ran over, and I'm surprised he got to number 2. I thought he was going to fall a little bit farther. Actually, the Demons were very interested in picking him up, so he goes to the Dynasty. Next up, the Lightning again with the Heroes pick. They pick up D-tackle KJ Tharp. He is a smaller D-tackle, so he's the exact opposite of their former D-tackle. But he does have excellent leverage in the pass and run game. What he does lack is experience. He only played a half a season starting in developmental, and he played pretty good. He had 5 sacks, some pressures, some good run-stopping plays. But I'm actually kind of surprised that the Lightning went with this pick here. Especially, there's a lot of star players here that they could have picked up. Now, a lot of players in this draft do have injury concerns, so I'm not surprised they go with someone who hasn't had any, but still. Number 4 is the Philadelphia Revolution. They pick up cornerback Terrell Duke, who's surprisingly the first corner off the board. There's a lot of good corners in this draft. He's a great press corner. He just lacks athleticism. He's not even really that strong of a corner, but he did have quite a few deflections, which I think they do hope that will become interceptions. But and again, he's good at pressing receivers, but the fact that he lacks really good athleticism, and his man coverage is okay. I'm surprised the Revolution do go with this pick, but I think it is a solid pick and a solid upgrade for this team. Now, next is the Crusaders, who somehow find their way in the top 5 pick position, and they have one of the best offenses in the league. You would think they would try to go defense, but after all these defenders go off the board, the first offensive player is quarterback Colton Castanarina, which is surprising. Their quarterback currently just jumped up from a bronze to a gold, and they now draft possibly his successor. Now, Colton, though, I will say he has an electric arm, one of the best arm talents to ever come out of the league. He just has a hard time reading coverage. Maybe they think if he sits behind their current quarterback that, he could get better, which is possible, but it's very surprising for them to go this route. Next is the Tigers. They pick up generational talent, tight end Bryce Thomas. He led the FFLM in touchdowns. He's the best receiver in the draft, at least receiving talent. He's just not the best blocker, but he can still block, which the Tigers do need at tight end. But the fact is he's a dual threat. He can go out there. He's very strong, so he can pancake some people, but he can also be an excellent route runner. Excellent hands. He has glue on those hands, man, and it's very surprising that he was not picked higher. I thought maybe, the Crusaders would go and pick up him, especially because they want offense, Next is number 7, the Sacramento Wolves. They pick up Desmond Banks, who I think should have been the first corner off the board. He's a elite future star corner in possibly. Now, he does lack elite athleticism, but he can cover man zone, he can press, he can do it all. Maybe a future safety once he gets older. His only issue is his injury history. He has torn his ACL a couple of times. Basically, the last year of him being in developmental was his only full season, but in that, he was an island on his own. So I'm very surprised that he's fallen down to number 7. Next, number 8 is the Minnesota Machine, and they pick up Gil Porter. They really wanted Desmond Banks, and they almost got him, but Gil Porter is a athletic corner. He lacks ball hawk ability. He's going to drop a lot of interceptions for you. But I will say, their last corner, Leonard Selvey, even though he had good hands, would drop some picks as well. He can be moved across the defense as, follow receivers. Gil Porter is an excellent pick here. Again, I'm surprised he dropped to number 8. This is a defensive heavy draft, and we're gonna have to see what number 9 will bring us, as I think that the Machine have one of the best picks here. Number 9 is the Revenge, and I think they're a little mad that Bird's not on the board. So they have to pick up free safety Dwan Westbrook. He's good in zone coverage, but terrible injury history, and we really don't know what he looks like after his last injury. I mean, his last injury was his last game. He tore his ACL. He's going to be ready for the season, but we just don't know what he's going to look like. He's had some injuries with his shoulders as well, so I don't know what type of free safety he's going to look like. I know when he did play, he was pretty electric in zone coverage, but that was also because of his speed. He was really good at baiting quarterbacks, but I don't know if that's going to continue, especially with number 10, the LA Monarchs pick up Marquez Harrison, the big 99, as he led the FFLM in tackles and forced fumbles. He is a phenomenal player. From all I hear, he's a great teammate. He's a phenomenal team captain, but he does have personality issues, though. He's a good guy, but once that switch is flipped, he is nasty. He's not afraid to injure people. He's not afraid to fight with coaches. He's not afraid to fight with owners. I think he was supposed to be top 5, but he's fallen to 10. I'm surprised he didn't fall more. But I also understand that LA really picked up a good player here to really secure possibly their future at middle linebacker. Next is the Dragons. They pick up outside linebacker Savon Sanders. He's really good in running lanes. He's good at block shedding. That's pretty much it. I'm honestly surprised that he got picked by the Dragons here. They have an okay linebacking core. Again, it's aging, but he lacks coverage skills. I'm very surprised that Sanders got picked here. I don't know if maybe they're playing 3D chess, but the Dragons really need help on that defense. Their offense is decent. Their defense is horrific. You could say, possibly almost worse than the Crusaders, and the Crusaders are known to pick up budget people on defense, and the Dragons came and do that. Number 12 is the Bears. They pick up inside linebacker Jonathan Tyson, who got a developmental upgrade right before the draft as well. He's a great run stopper and blitzer. He does need work on coverage, but because of his skill and his speed, if they want to start blitzing the middle linebacker, I think he's an excellent choice. He's a hard hitter, possibly injury prone. We're not very sure. He did miss a couple games last year due to a concussion, but Tyson I think is a good pick here at 12. This draft class isn't super strong. I think that's why we saw a lot of people trying to trade out or trade down. Next is number 13, the Cavalry. They have one spot remaining, and that's going to be for tackle Chris Stokes. He's the strongest tackle in this draft. He broke the record for most bench press, but his pass blocking is super messy. Now, run blocking wise, not good footwork, but he's very strong. Pass blocking, he's gonna get spun on, and honestly, I'm surprised he's the first tackle to come off the board. This, tackle. There's another tackle further down that I'm surprised has not been picked yet. But yet the Cavalry go with this guy who, doesn't get injured, who's super strong, and hopefully maybe they can mold him. Next is our DC Demons. We pick up safety / corner Tyrell Young. He's versatile. He's a jack of all trades, master of none type player. He can blitz. He's a hard hitter. He has speed. He can play zone. He can play man. He's not very injury prone, but the problem is he can do all of that for you, but he's not going to be elite in any of those. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to play more nickel, which we played a lot of nickel last year, but we're going to play even more. We're going to have those 3 linebackers, those 3 D linemen, and we're going to have him blitz, have him, cover, and I think he's going to act like almost like a fourth linebacker as well. Next is number 15, the Gladiators. They pick up edge / defensive end Marcus Baldwin. I'm very surprised he was not picked up earlier. I think this is a good spot though for him. He's a speed rusher. He lacks strength to set the edge. He can't really stop running plays, but he can definitely get to the quarterback. He's known for his really quick swim moves. He's known for his spin moves. He can get to QBs very quickly. I think it's just that his consistency from year to year is not very good, especially game to game. Some games you're going to see him get 4 sacks, and some other games against worse opponents, he's going to be held to nothing and get pancaked almost every play. Next is number 16, the Sailors, the champs, getting all the way to just the 16. They're picking up cornerback Rasheem Davis. Now, they do lose their star corner, but they pick up Davis, who I'm very surprised has lasted. He's a blazing ball hawk cornerback. Ball hawk as in he can get into position, but he will drop the interception. His catching is not that great, but he can definitely trick quarterbacks with his play. He can go up for crazy interceptions when he can catch them. He's very good at pass deflecting, good at man, great at zone. So it's going to be interesting to see him on the Sailors, especially with Sutherland on that other side. Next up, 17, the Bulls. They pick up tackle / guard Connor Bridges. Very interesting case. He should have been number 1 in this draft class until he tore his ACL last year and then tore his other ACL this year. He lacks size at tackle. That's why I think he might work out as a guard in the future. But for right now, he's a 6'3" tackle. But he has excellent quick feet. He's a great run blocker, great pass blocker. We're just not going to see what he looks like. I mean, he's missed practically the last year and a half to injury. So it's either going to be really good or really bad for the Bulls. Next up, number 18, the Vipers. They pick up running back Amari Seiler. He's a former receiver turned running back. He's an excellent receiving back. He has he can read running lanes really well. He's really good at breaking ankles. He's really good at going out wide, which, as we've seen during the season when we play the Vipers, they like to move the running back to the outside and to pass to him a lot. Reynolds is okay, but he drops the ball a lot. Now, Amari Seiler will not do that, but he does lack strength to fight through tackles very bad. He tends to give up on plays very quickly. So we're just going to have to see how Seiler does against us. Again, next is 19, the New York Guardians. They pick up cornerback Maurice Turner, one of the best man coverage corners in this draft. Elite man coverage, but he lacks zone coverage and press ability. He sucks at zone. He is athletic for sure. He can get up and, dunk, on some of these wide receivers. But I think what he lacks is just being able to get the interception, try to trick any sort of quarterback. Zone coverage is just not his thing. But he can cover pretty much any receiver in man coverage. But the Guardians, they got rid of Holden, so we're going to see how he does. Number 20, the Denver Flight. They pick up wide receiver Matt Fusco. He has elite speed and route running. He does lack in the hands department as a corner, but the fact is he is one of the fastest players in this draft. He can burn anyone on a streak, on a post. He's exactly what this team needs on offense to really set their offense ahead of everyone else's. They have a good running game. He's not going to be good at run blocking, but I do think in the passing game he's going to really open up the running game with him just being there. Next will be number 21. We're almost done with this draft. We only have a few more picks to go. We have the Ash picking up Connor Anderson at center. We don't know how good this pick's going to be. I guess he's versatile. He can play guard. He can play center. He lacks any elite ability, and he rode the bench most of last year and only played one game where, yes, he did face against the number 1 pick in Alfonso Ratliff, and he held him to no sacks. But other than that, I'm very surprised that Ash picked up this center when they maybe could have moved up and got somebody else, or even just picked somebody else other than Connor Anderson. Next pick is number 22. We only have 2 more picks after this, and that's going to be for the Warthogs as they pick up middle linebacker Daquan McLaughlin. McLaughlin is the fastest linebacker in this draft. He has blazing speed. He lacks a lot of strength, though. He's a former safety turned linebacker due to his, zone coverage. But if he's in a cover 2 system, he can play a deep middle if he really needs to. He can get beat, but he can again catch up very quickly. In the run game, he can get blocked, but if he's able to run around the block, he can get to the edge very quickly. Now, he can't, because he lacks so much strength. If he faces a power back, it's going to be tough for him. But I think with this defense, they play very fast, so it's going to be very interesting. Now, tackle to the Hounds, Dylan Phillips. The Hounds fall all the way to 23 here, and they pick up a tackle who is probably the worst tackle in this. Honestly, other than Connor Anderson, he's probably the worst offensive lineman in this draft. He's probably going to be a backup in the near future. He has no footwork and no positives for us to talk about here. He's not very strong. He's not very fast. He's going to get in the way, pretty much. Very sad for the Hounds. I know they're in a crappy position here, but they really should have picked better. And now the Bullheads, who come up with the 24th pick, the last pick in the draft, they pick up tight end Jake Navarra. Now, he is a weird one. He is a former wide receiver. He's oversized, though. He's very heavy for wide receiver. He played a lot of slot, and he played only the last half of last season and balled out. But again, we don't know. There's a lack of strength, a lack of film there. But from what we do see, he's a great route runner. And I think at tight end, he's not going to be a good blocker at all. But this Bullheads team is a speedy team. They don't really block a lot. And I think with another trade that hasn't been talked about, the Bullheads trade their Defensive Player of the Year, Henry Kinder, to the Vipers for Vipers free safety Walter Grant and for wide receiver Casey Smith. So the Bullheads get better there at offense, get slightly worse on defense. The Vipers get a lot better on defense and slightly worse on offense. And honestly, I think it's a great trade for them. Now, thank you for watching this offensive video, or not this off-season video. I'm going to be coming back with a new season very soon, hopefully. And I hope you enjoyed this off-season video as you see some clips. And enjoy. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.